Hello, and welcome to the next section in our Symbology chapter. In this section, we will be going over the different types of polygon symbology. Similar to point symbology, we will discuss options such as single symbol, unique values, and symbolizing based on quantity and values. We will also introduce a new term into your GIS vocabulary, bivariate symbology. Bivariate symbology shows the quantitative relationship between two variables in a feature layer. Bivariate symbology is best used to emphasize the highest and lowest values in a dataset, or to find correlations within a dataset. For example, a local government may create a bivariate choropleth map with bivariate colors symbology to determine if there is a relationship between traffic accidents and median household income in their town. Also, feel free to download the data we will be using for this project from the class page. We will be using block group demographic data for the city of Denver in this exercise. Okay, here we are back at Pro. I have inserted a new map into my Pro project titled Denver Demographics. I have also added the Polygon layer from the class page. It is a layer from the American Community Survey and contains dozens of different types of demographic variables, such as household income and race. Always remember when setting your symbology, highlight the layer in your table of contents that you want to work with. So I have my layer here highlighted. Then I want to click on the feature layer ribbon at the top and then click on the down arrow next to symbology. Like we talked about with point symbology, you would use single symbol if you want all of the symbology to look the same. With our current layer, we are using a single purple polygon symbol for all of the block groups. Then we have unique values. We would use unique values if we wanted to symbolize based on an attribute like neighborhood name or a specific status or type. For this example, let's click on graduated colors. Once we do that, it will open up our symbology pane over to the right. By default, it will start with the first double field in our table. Let's change the field to total population. When we do that, you can see it automatically gives us 5 classes, ranging from a low of 715 people in a block group to a high of 4,977 people. Let's change this color scheme to something a little easier on the eyes. I am going to click once on the color scheme ramp and change it to something a little more continuous, which is easier in my opinion to visualize. Remember, at any time, we can click on a census block and view all of the data for that polygon in our pop-up. This census block to the far northeast of downtown Denver is actually the location of Denver International Airport, which is why the population is 0. As I click on blocks closer to downtown, I can see the total population gets a lot higher. Okay, back to the symbology. I mentioned earlier, the default number of classes is 5. In this case, let's increase that to 10 classes. To do so, click on other arrow next to 5 classes. And let's change that to say 10 classes. This will automatically update our ranges for each class. Now we range from a low population of 266 to a high population of 4,977. Let's now change the field from total population to median household income. To do so, click on the down arrow next to field and then scroll all the way to the bottom and find median household income. For this variable, let's also try a different color scheme. For this one, let's use more of a heat ramp. I like this one second from the top. It will show low household incomes in dark blue and high household incomes in a yellow. Now remember, even though we selected a continuous color scheme, we can still change individual polygon symbols. For example, let's say we really want the highest income to stick out like a sore thumb. I will right-click on the yellow polygon and change that fill color to a bright red. By doing so, we can quickly tell what block groups have the highest median household income. Now let's also quickly look at a different type of polygon symbology called graduated symbols. To change our symbology type, click on this down arrow here, and then let's click on graduated symbols. Now, again, it's going to give us our first double field as the default field. Let's change that back to our total population field to visualize population in each block group. Let's make our minimum size smaller and our maximum size larger. And then zoom in just a bit. Let's also change the lowest population to a light blue and the highest population to a dark green. Okay, this isn't too bad. There are some times where graduated symbols might make sense for polygon symbology. However, I would say a majority of the time, you will want to stick with graduated colors. Next, let's turn this symbology back to single symbol for a moment. To do that, click on the feature layer ribbon, and then Symbology, and single symbol. This will put all of our polygons back to the same color and fill. Okay, next I want to introduce you to something called bivariate symbology. Bivariate symbology is best used to emphasize the highest and lowest values in a data set or to find correlations within a data set. For example, using bivariate symbology, we could find the correlation between crime and household income in our Denver census layer, or maybe even education and gender. To set this up, let's click on Symbology again. This time, let's click on Bivariate Colors, the fourth option from the top. That's going to give us a completely different symbology pane than what we are used to. You can see here with bivariate symbology, we need to use the attributes from two fields. In the first field, let's use the population of anyone in their 20s. So this will be everyone aged between 20 and 29. For the second field, let's use our total population. This creates a cool looking map. Over here in the table of contents, you can see our matrix. There are 9 total symbols that make up the total bivariate matrix. The lowest values for both layers will be in the bottom left. Moving to the right at the bottom, we will have high total population, but a low population of people in their 20s. Moving up the left, we will have a high population of people in their 20s, but a lower total population. The polygon in the top right, which is dark purple, will show us the area where the total population and the population of people in their 20s is the highest. Back to the symbology pane. There are a bunch of different symbology edits we can make here too. For example, we can change the color scheme by clicking on the arrow next to color scheme. There are a bunch of good options here. Down at the bottom, we can also change the terminology in the legend. For example, I'll change the field name for the 20 to 29 population. We can also change our histogram values if we want to. I'll leave these for now, but we can change the bucket sizes at any time. Let's look at one more quick example. Let's change our age 20 population to median household income. There are so many attributes in this layer, it can take a few seconds to find this one. Okay, so now we're comparing our total population to median household income. Let's also change our color scheme, so dark red is in the top right. So here we can see the areas that have a high population and a high household income. These areas will be in dark red. The areas in light purple have a low income and a low population. Remember, you can use the hand tool and click on a block at any time to see the data in a pop-up. Okay, that's it for bivariate and polygon symbology. Just like with the point symbology, it's always important to keep your purpose in mind when selecting a symbology type. Need to show your polygons based on a specific attribute? You probably want unique values. Want to show a relationship between two values in your data? Try bivariate symbols. Next up will be line symbology.